You're watching the 2015 Timberwolves Shootout, brought to you by School Space Media and Stream Powered Productions. This game is brought to you in part by Anoka Ramsey Community College and Anoka Technical. It's more than a college. It's a community dedicated to your success. And by the Urgency Room. With locations in Eagan, Woodbury, and Vadnais Heights, they'll have you in fast and home soon. Go to the Urgency Room. The pregame show is coming up next.
Welcome to Target Center as SchoolSpaceMedia.tv continues its coverage of the 19th annual Timberwolves Shootout. I'm Mike Peden, joined by Andrew Aanenson. This is our third of four contests today, presented to you live on SchoolSpaceMedia.tv. The Morgan Park Mustangs take on the DeLaSalle Islanders. Morgan Park at 10-3, DeLaSalle at 7-2. And Andrew, we saw this DeLaSalle team last year when they defeated St. Rita en route to their third straight Class 3A state championship. This year, DeLaSalle is a favorite again to win a fourth straight, something that has been done once in any class, and Jarvis Johnson is a big reason why.
Yeah, he's got a lot of talent. He's super quick, gopher commit, so the Golden Gophers are very happy to have him. Also, Sakar and them, he's a very good player. Look for both of these players to really take control of their offenses. And Morgan Park's got a very good, talented point guard back there. He can cross over anybody in the nation. I've watched a lot of tape on him. I'm very excited to see these two guards go at it.
And the person Andrew is referencing is Marcus Levet. He's a four-star recruit, has not committed to a college yet, but getting several major Division I offers. And you said you had a chance to watch some of these players on tape. So who else are you looking forward to seeing today?
I'm also looking forward to seeing Charles Moore from Morgan Park. He's a tenacious rebounder. He'll get up and down the court all day on the rebounds. He can also step out and hit the shot. You don't really expect that from a big man of his size because he's got kind of like a Kenneth Freed type motor. He's always going on the glass. So I'm very excited to see him. Also, Romelio Burrell, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's a sophomore, very long, good defender, great IQ. This is going to be a very good matchup to see. Both of these teams got talented players all across the board.
The key matchup will be Marcus Levet and Jarvis Johnson, and if we have them up, let's take a look at our keys to the game. For the Morgan Park Mustangs, it's going to be great energy. Well, we'll share a few more keys with you in a moment, but DeLaSalle, a regular member of this event, and part of that has to do with the coach. He was responsible. Along with Jeff Municky, Dave Thorson, the two collaborated and formed this event to bring a spotlight to Minnesota high school basketball, and we're entering its 19th year. And if you want an idea how much this event means to the community, we have a record number of credential holders. We're responsible for about 16 of those. We don't have a graphic, but that's all right. I have my voice. So Morgan Park's keys: great energy, strong rebounding, and transition scoring. And for the DeLaSalle Islanders, a lot of that's going to be on defense, and as we've seen before, they pride themselves on that. Containing Marcus Levet, that's an obvious one. Communicating on ball screens so they don't get caught, and cutout, which is their version of boxing out, establishing positions for rebounds. And there we have our graphic up on the screen, so if you want that in written form, there you go. But Morgan Park, again, great energy, strong rebounding, scoring and transition. DeLaSalle, Marcus Levet, they got to contain him. Communicating on the ball screens, cut out, be in position for rebounds. Because Reed Travis graduated to Stanford last year, and they have some height down low, but not as strong of a presence. As the lights dim at Target Center. No, the Wolves aren't playing yet. They take the court at 7 p.m. tonight against the San Antonio Spurs. We're starting with the Morgan Park starters. There is Marcus Levet.
The junior, number 2, Charlie Moore.
Number 2, Charlie Moore, also starting for the Mustangs.
Starting at forward, a sophomore, number 15, Melo Burwell.
15, Melo Burrell.
Starting at guard, number 3, a junior, Jaron Randall.
Jaron Randall will also start. We'll get more information once the introductions are complete.
a junior. Number 22, Alonzo Chapman.
And Alonzo Chapman rounds out the Mustangs.
The Mustangs head coach is Nick Urban. And now here's your starting lineup for the Islanders.
And there you see the graphic for the Morgan Park Mustangs. DeLaSalle coming up next. Jarvis Johnson will start for the Islanders. No surprise there. Great story with him. We'll talk about that as the game goes on.
The sophomore, number 14, Gonar Marr.
Gonar Marr, one of the key contributors for the Islanders this season.
The senior, number 15,
Sakar Nim had 29 points in DeLaSalle's win last night over Columbia Heights.
Starting at forward, the senior, number 33, Jeffrey Dobinson.
Jeffrey Dobinson, listed as 23 in the program, will wear 33 here.
The senior, number 24, Joshua Collins.
Josh Collins committed to North Dakota next season for college. And Dave Thorson, the legendary coach for the Islanders. 3 straight state tournament titles. And don't forget, he also won state tournaments in 1998 and 2006. I know about the 2006 team. There was some notable alumni from that group. And we talked about this last year. DeLaSalle produces a lot of great student athletes. And I have never met a DeLaSalle student or alumnus that I did not respect.
Yeah, they've got a great program over there from head to toe, athletics, sports, coaching. So just a great school to go to. Like you said, I haven't met nobody who has a bad word to say about DeLaSalle.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Anoka Ramsey Community College and Anoka Technical. We are more than a college. It's a community dedicated to your success. And by the Urgency Room with locations in Eagan, Woodbury, and Vadnais Heights. They'll have you in fast at home soon. Go to the Urgency Room. We thank you for your support. Remember, we're live here on SchoolSpaceMedia.tv. Morgan Park wearing the green. DeLaSalle wearing the white. DeLaSalle has split in their last 2 trips here to the Timberwolves Shootout. Morgan Park, a newcomer this year. Tip-off. And it's won by the Islanders, and Jarvis Johnson will set things up. He is the floor general. Many of you know his story by now. He's committed to Minnesota, but 4 years ago recovered from a nearly fatal heart attack, and he was dead for 7 to 12 minutes. But fate had other plans, and here is Jarvis doing great things for the Islanders and part of a great family. We'll talk more about that as we go on. Marcus Levette has it for the Mustangs. DeLaSalle missing on their first possession. There's Randall. This is DeLaSalle's 4th game this season against an out-of-state team. And number 15 stepped on the baseline, Melo Burrell. So no basket for the Mustangs.
Start the game with a turnover, not the way Morgan wants to do it.
I stand corrected. This is DeLaSalle's 5th opponent outside the state of Minnesota. And in their previous meetings, they are 3-1. They lost to North Scott at the Breakdown Tip-Off Classic, 67-64, a team we saw just a few minutes ago here on SchoolSpaceMedia.tv. DeLaSalle historically struggles at that event, but they won the state tournaments, which is the event you want to win the most here. And they spent the holidays up in the Sanford Pentagon, winning over Mitchell Christian and Sioux Falls, Washington. They also had a victory in mid-December against Milwaukee, Washington. And this will not be the last opponent outside the state that DeLaSalle faces. They will end the season at Iowa City to play Iowa City West.
Do you think that's better for a team to play more out-of-state teams?
Well, with the pedigree of Dave Thorson, remember, he was on the Minnesota coaching staff when they had that Final Four run in '97. And the state tournaments and the litany of talent, you're going to get a lot of respect from around the region. Here's Levette, pulls up, swish, and our first basket goes to the Mustangs.
Marcus Levette.
He's got an Allen Iverson type first step. He can get by anybody. I'm very excited to see this kid go.
You talking about practice?
I'm talking practice.
Dobinson, got it. And Dobinson gets DeLaSalle on the board. Levet is the 8th best prospect in the state, according to PrepHoopsIllinois.com. And whoever gets him, as you see our graphic on the screen, whoever gets him is going to have a huge boost of talent. Rising up, but getting denied was Melo Burrell. Scramble for the ball. It's won by Marr, but he leaned to the baseline. So Morgan Park will hang on to it with 15:39 left in the first half. And we have a little bit of an ESPN look to these graphics.
I love these graphics. That was a really good play by Morgan Park. They hustled and didn't give up on the play and got the ball.
Of course, ESPN, we're thinking about them with the passing of Stuart Scott last weekend. Scramble for the ball again, and a traveling violation. Charlie Moore lost his footing, and he's hit with too many steps.
He just kept walking. Can't do those.
Jarvis Johnson is the quintessential point guard. He can score himself or he can create for others. And Dave Thorson in previous interviews had stated that he's a very mature, disciplined athlete and makes everyone else better. Missing the three-pointer was number 24 for the Islanders, Josh Collins. And Levet has it now. Over to Moore. In trouble is Burrell. And he's going to lose the ball. Josh Collins picks it up.
Morgan Park already has 3 turnovers. Very slot. Maybe both teams just need to calm down, come into the zone.
More turnovers than points. Johnson from 17. Off the heel. And the rebound is tipped, going to Moore. Fast break. Denied! Jarvis Johnson with the block, but a three-pointer from Marcus Levet. So Johnson with the block, but Morgan Park still scores. That's tough. That was a great fast break block, and there's nothing to show for it.
Excellent transition, D, and to come up with them still scoring 3, it must be heartbreaking.
Johnson draws the foul. He'll shoot a pair.
But
no, they're going to call it side out. He did not shoot. And substitutions coming in. Morgan Park will send in number 4, Jamal Burton, and number 23, Sam Mack.
Tipped, it will stay DeLaSalle ball.
5-2 our score, as you see on the screen, 13:59 left. And it's amazing to see this partnership grow. I've covered this event for the past 3 years. The last 2 were with another outlet, and now to see this be a part of our school space media coverage. This event is growing every year, and it's fun to see the evolution of prep basketball.
Oh, very much so. You're at a big stage, Target Center. The kids must be excited to play. There's a big crowd here.
Collins thought about the 3, goes cross court. Now Johnson near NBA range. That's off the heel. Going on Marr, could not win the tip. And Annam has yet to get a touch here. Reverse! And Charlie Moore must be butter because he's on a roll.
Yeah, that was a... I like that.
Charlie Moore's first basket. And the Mustangs with an early 7-2 lead over the Islanders. Collins for 3. Rims out. And the rebound by Jamal Burton. Illinois no stranger to talent either in prep basketball. And that's going to be a blocking foul on Sekar Anim.
He got up holding his knee. He was almost in the right position. You know, he tried to make the right play, but his feet just wasn't set.
Substitution for DeLaSalle. Number 21, Sam Jones takes the floor.
Sam Jones enters for DeLaSalle. Jared Randall returns for Morgan Park.
And Randall will return for the Islanders. Off balance three. Foul, count it for Jamal Burton on the follow through. And Morgan Park can't complain about this start so far.
DeLaSalle foul.
They're all over the court.
Sakar Nim hit with a foul. That's his second, and he's going to be sitting for a while. The 5th highest scorer in the state, averaging roughly 26 points per game. Josh Collins will take his place. Jamal Burton on the board with that field goal. Comes up short, but the rebound to Chapman and Morgan Park. It's another possession out of this. Levette to number 3, that's Randall. Chapman has it. Entry pass is swiped away, and the foul in the backcourt. Sam Jones making the defensive play.
It was a very good play by DeLaSalle to prevent that lob pass. You don't want those easy points. Catch that ball down in the paint down there. That's too easy.
12:29 remaining in the first half. 9-2 our score. Jones outside. Remember, the black line is the high school line. The blue line is the NBA three-point line. That doesn't mean athletes will be afraid to shoot from there, but to prevent confusion, that's to keep an eye on. 15-footer for Johnson. He's 0 for 3 to start this game. And Mack has it for the Mustangs. Randall. And getting in the passing lane was Collins, but there for the recovery was Burton. Levette for 3. Short. Johnson with the rebound. And outlet pass.
Oh.
And Collins could not finish. Now Morgan Park can run. Levette through the hole.
There's that
Booyah.
speed.
11-2. And there's a timeout from Dave Thorson, the very vocal Dave Thorson, and DeLaSalle. Of course, we know Dave Thorson is a very energetic coach. We'd like to remind you that this broadcast is brought to you in part by Anoka Ramsey. Anoka Ramsey is dedicated to responding to the educational needs of its changing communities and providing opportunities for enhancing knowledge, skill, and values in a supportive learning environment. Anoka Ramsey Community College, more than a college. Also, the Urgency Room. When you need immediate medical care, get to the Urgency Room with locations in Eagan, Woodbury, and Vadnais Heights. They'll have you in fast and home soon. Go to the Urgency Room. And, well, that's all the reads we have, but I do want to remind you as we get a look at this replay, well, let's take a look at that long deuce from Levette. Don't forget to watch our show tonight, Minnesota Prep Spotlight. If you're in the Twin Cities area, you can catch it at 11 p.m. on KSTC Channel 45. And if you don't live in the area, as we get a look at a few more highlights, including that beautiful setup, the dish from Levette, and the finish by Moore, that reverse. There's the foul from Burton, and we rejoin action. Minnesota Prep Spotlight. If you don't live in the Twin Cities area, you can watch episodes on demand. We usually have them posted the weekend of our air date. Well, let's see if DeLaSalle can respond to this. Again, their success has been plentiful, but they run into some obstacles. But going back to what you said earlier about playing out-of-state teams, I think it allows you to get a fresh look at yourself and what others are developing. Because, DeLaSalle, the Tri-Metro West, and they play roughly in the same section, so they're going to get the same crop of opponents. With an event like this, you're getting different flavors. Look out! Oh! You will respect my authority! Marcus Levette with the slam!
That kid is explosive.
Levette to 9. 13-2 lead for the Mustangs. Collins drawing a triple team, gets out of it. There's Jones.
This 2-3 zone by Morgan Park.
And a traveling violation.
DeLaSalle needs to match their intensity. Morgan Park is all over the floor playing a 2-3 zone, and they're boom, boom on offense. They're controlling this game right now.
And they have a chance to extend their lead. Now, as you know, we play Minnesota high school rules, so 18-minute halves, which is different for the Morgan Park team. Levette through the hole and in. Don't tell Levette that he's playing with halves and not quarters.
It's all the same to him. Put the ball in the basket.
Levette putting on a show in the first 8 minutes of this one. Anim is back in there. He has 2 fouls. They're going to have to monitor that. Jarvis Johnson to Anim for 3. Short. And the rebound is won by Chapman. Morgan Park can run again. This time it's Moore, and he draws a foul. I believe that's on Anim. Yes.
Yeah.
That's his 3rd. With 9:45 left, Anim has 3 personal fouls.
That's huge. You just get back in the game. You don't want to give up an easy layup like that, but come on. And it wasn't a shooter foul.
Actually, it looks like it. Nope, they call it on Jarvis Johnson. It looked like Anim from our vantage point, but Anim still has to be careful. In either case, Morgan Park hangs on to it with a 15-2 lead. Drive to the basket is short from Burton. DeLaSalle are, as you mentioned, the 2-3 zone stumping them here. Anim in transition gets his first field goal of the day.
There we go.
Anim, 26.4 points per game, leads the Tri-Metro in scoring, and as we said, 5th in the state, but his total is about half of Bjorn Broman. Bullseye, Charlie Moore.
Smooth stroke.
18-4. And DeLaSalle is used to adversity, whether it's through the deficits or even just their own roster. Remember, they played about half the season last year without Reed Travis.
And those are a top player, and they did very well last year, won the state. So,
Anim through traffic, no. Weak side, put back it in. For number 11, Gabe Kalsher. Gabe Kalsher averaging just 4 points per game, but I think for DeLaSalle, this will help get them some confidence back because they had just 1 field goal through the first 9 minutes, and now they're getting a couple of plays in.
Yeah, that was a very good play. He crashed the boards. They got all their points in the paint. Hopefully they can hit this free throw, but let's get in the paint because that's how they're making all their points.
And Kalsher completes the 3-point play. That is our first trip to the free throw line in this contest.
Joshua Collins returns for DeLaSalle.
And even you were mentioning the competition DeLaSalle faces out of state, or I was. Even in state, they get some tough ones here. But we've got Levette. Oh, he was ready. Yeah. And DeLaSalle was also prepared. They strip him for the ball. Oh. Collision. And Anim slides on the target center floor.
Luckily, they were mouth guards. Back in my day, we didn't have those.
And he's used to this facility.
His 3rd.
Remember DeLaSalle playing here many times. The state tournament round is held here. The Islanders are no stranger to the home of the Minnesota Timberwolves.
No, they feel very comfortable on this court. They've won titles on this court. They know how to get it done. This big stage is not going to scare them off one bit. It's got to settle and down into their offense, and they'll be fine.
Alley-oop! And the foul from behind. Anim will shoot 2.
The stare down. I like that, boy. He stared him down.
As they say, make them earn it from the stripe. Don't give up the easy look. We'll get another look here. Great entry pass.
His first, team 6.
And the foul will be charged to Melo Burrell.
That might have been a flagrant in the NBA now, huh? These days, everything is so...
I don't know, but fortunately we don't have video review, so we won't have the officials come over and stop this contest in that regard. But Anim at the line completes both. That brings him up to 4. DeLaSalle, a perfect 3 of 3 to start from the charity stripe. And they cut the margin to 9, and with the halves as we've had for the last 9 years, it creates more opportunities for those runs, and with so much time to play in a period, you can be down early, 15-2 as DeLaSalle was, and you don't really have to be flustered as we have an officials chat here.
No, you don't, especially the type of scoring that they can bring. They got so much scores, led by Aanenson Johnson, like you said, but you know, they got very good ball movement. They just need to match the intensity and energy of Morgan Park. Morgan Park is flashing lights right now.
But as we mentioned, the scheduling that DeLaSalle gets is just as tough in-state. They played Apple Valley in the Boys Breakdown Tip-Off Classic, lost to them by 14. And strong defense by DeLaSalle disrupts the passing game of Morgan Park, forcing the turnover. Other key non-conference opponents that DeLaSalle will face: Eden Prairie to complete the home-and-home series there. DeLaSalle lost to the Eagles last year. And Cretin-Durham Hall, a team you saw in our last game, completing a home-and-home there. Marr, no. Battle for the rebound. It's a dead ball rebound. It will stay with the Islanders. Gabe Kalsher, lucky in that one. Plenty of time for the Islanders here. And I want to mention that since we're live, if you want to converse with me on Twitter, I'll be happy to read your thoughts. You can hit me up at The Sports Brain. The Sports Brain. We'd love to hear from you and find out just where our fans are watching from across the country. Johnson kicks out. Kalsher for three. That's short. Rebound.
Loose ball.
Loose ball foul. And it looks like it's against Morgan Park, and it is. And that is their seventh. That's going to put DeLaSalle in the bonus.
Mustang foul number 34, Austin Trice.
It's crashing the boards. That's what you do every time there's a miss. You want to crash those boards, create second chance opportunities, and that's exactly what they're doing. Morgan has 5 turnovers already. This game, they're thankful to only be down 9.
Jarvis Johnson, averaging 16 points per game, will shoot the front end of a 1-and-1. As we mentioned, that heart attack that was nearly fatal, he came back from that, and he was originally told he would never be able to play basketball again. And considering that he's the youngest of a very athletic family, as he makes the first, his aunt is Faith Johnson-Patterson, the head coach of the DeLaSalle girls team. His older sister, Tyshana, is averaging a double-double right now, only one of 2 players in the Big 12. When you're told you can't play basketball, that's not going to sit well. And he pushed for it, worked his way back, got his strength, his conditioning, and now he's going to be a D1 recruit at a Big 10 school. Has a pacemaker in his chest. He can't really feel it unless he's sleeping.
And that's an amazing story. That's just the will.
And he said the choice to settle on Minnesota came in a dream when he thought about running down the floor in his number 12 jersey. And that jersey number shared by his big sister. Levette rejected by Marr. Collins has it on the run, and he loses control. Jamal Burton had a foul from behind. DeLaSalle had a few to give. Pace is picking up here, isn't it?
Yeah, they're going back. They're running. They're running.
Jarvis Johnson, to finish up that story, made the announcement at DeLaSalle. His sister was there, and so were his parents, and got a lot of cheers. We actually did a sit-down interview with them. Torrey Holt had a chat with them after he made that commitment. You can watch that on our archives on schoolspacemedia.tv. It was a great interview, and Johnson is not afraid to talk about his health, but he's also a very grounded person. I've talked to him a few times in interviews, and never does he put the spotlight on himself.
Yeah, a very humble kid is what you want in a locker room as a leader.
And his family very much the same. DeLaSalle getting in the lane. Anim has control, goes to the rack and rolls it in. And a timeout by Morgan Park. Anim up to 6, and a 13-point margin has trimmed to 5, 18-13 in favor of the Mustangs. Once again, we'd like to remind you that this broadcast is brought to you in part by Anoka Ramsey and Anoka Technical. Anoka Technical and Anoka Ramsey, they are more than a college. They are a community dedicated to your success and responding to the educational needs of its changing communities, providing opportunities for enhancing knowledge, skill, and values in a supportive learning environment. Anoka Ramsey and Anoka Technical College. And the urgency room. When you need immediate medical care, get to the urgency room. With locations in Eagan, Woodbury, and Vanias Heights, they'll have you in fast and home soon. Go to the urgency room. And let's take a look at the last play from DeLaSalle, the coast-to-coast move by Sakar Annam. And that has Lisa von Steinberg, one of our partners today, impressed. She's been around, was a coach for the girls team for the last few years, and now has a daughter who will be hopefully playing in the high school ranks soon. And a happy birthday to Bernie Purek, our audio tech. He's done a great job getting us. He told us to shut up. But we want to acknowledge his contributions and the rest of the crew for their dedication and commitment. We got here at about 6:30 this morning to get set up for this live broadcast. And Liesel over here has a birthday tomorrow. I was going to say she has a daughter who we'll hopefully see maybe here on this floor in a few years. We don't know where yet, but I hear she's a pretty talented kid. Wouldn't you agree, Liesel? She's nodding. Back to action on the floor. Morgan Park, 18-13 lead over DeLaSalle, but that lead was as large as 13. It is now 5. And some touch passes here by the Islanders, playing a little reverse game, kind of like the NFL. Levette takes it to the rim, and Annam says no way. Yes, that's Sam Jones. Ball control at a premium today, isn't it? Levette spots up, bullseye.
Flash. That's how they get their points. They're a very good transition team.
Levette currently outscoring DeLaSalle 14-13. Morgan Park up 21-13, and in terms of psychology, a badly needed bucket for the Mustangs. Jones, 15-footer, rims out. And the rebound by Mack. Levette again. Short, follows his miss, and cleans it up.
He's all over the court.
16 points. I don't care what the result is. If Don or anyone else is listening, Don Ackerman, sideline guy, we got to get a word with this kid. Annam is blocked, but a foul is called. He'll shoot 2.
Very good take by Annam. He wanted to just, let me get the ball, let me get in the paint. We got to get some points here.
Morgan Park foul, number 22, Alonzo Chapman, his second personal.
The foul's on Chapman, his second. Charlie Moore has 3 fouls for the Mustangs, if you're keeping track. Here's a Nim, 2 for 2 from the charity stripe.
Jarvis Johnson enters for DeLaSalle.
Sekar Anim is a senior.
For Morgan Park.
Hasn't announced his college decision yet.
Hopefully he joins Johnson, the Gophers. And maybe they can get Lovett too.
Well, Minnesota has used up their allotted scholarships for this year.
Kalsher enters for DeLaSalle.
But we do know that a lot of scouts come up here, D1 talent. Fred Hoiberg, we've seen him before, Roy Williams. So this is a great chance to display your abilities. And Nim made both free throws. He's now 4-4. DeLaSalle a perfect 5 of 5 from the free throw line. And now that helps this assault that Morgan Park has put on.
Yeah, you can hit your free throws. The game will slow down for you.
Morgan Park playing the reverse game again. Now a long deuce is good for Marcus Levette.
It seems like their game plan is just give it to Levette and see if he can make a play.
I think he's very comfortable with this floor. I wonder how he would do at the United Center. Closer to his hometown. And the home of the 6-time NBA champion Chicago Bulls.
Kind of plays like Rose. Well, the younger Rose, not the new Rose. Jump
well,
shot.
Anim, right-handed hook is good. And Anim is finding his stroke here late. Had a rough start, but now he's up to 10. And this is good for DeLaSalle. Get somebody going until your other options can swoop in for support.
And he's got very good move. He'll hit that post. 2 seconds, the ball's out.
I love this passing game. 3, pure for Levette. 21 points. 21 of the 28 points scored have come from number 1. And we mentioned keys to the game containing Marcus Levette. Dave Thorson might be reminding his kids of that at halftime.
Yeah, you think he ate his Wheaties this morning?
Wheaties, mini wheats, Cheerios.
He ate everything.
He probably had the whole breakfast aisle. And we have another transition attempt for 3.
Oh my!
24 points for Marcus Levette.
Don't touch him.
Timeout. If you're a D1 scout, you better recruit this kid. Once again, this broadcast is brought to you in part by Minnesota Prep Spotlight, the most comprehensive high school sports show in Minnesota, on TV and online. Join Tori Holt and Chrissy Wendell for Minnesota Prep Spotlight on 45 TV. Every Saturday night at 11 p.m. and on demand at schoolspacemedia.tv. And the Urgency Room. When you need immediate medical care, get to the Urgency Room with locations in Eagan, Woodbury, and Vadnais Heights. They'll have you in fast and home soon. Go to the Urgency Room. And I can vouch personally for Minnesota Prep Spotlight. Well, let's take a look at this fast break 3, or we'll get there. There's Levette driving to the rack. We'll get to that fast break 3 in a moment, but I can vouch for Minnesota Prep Spotlight. There's his elevation, because I edit the show. In fact, I'll have a story that airs tonight at 11 p.m., so if you tune in on KSTC, I have a feature on Minneapolis North's Tyler Johnson, who got his 1,000th career point last night in a win over Minneapolis Henry, and that game was also significant because Larry McKenzie picked up his 300th career coaching victory.
Oh, congratulations to Mr. McKenzie, Coach McKenzie.
And I've covered Minneapolis North frequently in the last 2 seasons. They're the top-ranked team in Class A, and they're hoping they will be on this floor next year. And with the talent and that depth that Minneapolis North has, Jeff Munichie may give them the nod. As Minneapolis North, back in the Khaled El Amin days, they would bring the North Polars here to play at the Target Center.
Yeah, those days, that boy could flat out play for the North Polars. I remember watching him.
In fact, the first time they were here was 96-97 against Oak Hill.
Oak Hill, is that Kevin Garnett's school?
That was Farragut. And that's Sakar Nim with the roll. And a lot of history here at this event. And the last few years, we've done a quartet of games that leads into a Wolves game. And the double team jams number 34 for Morgan Park. That player is Austin Trice, and he turns it over.
Returns for Morgan Park.
2:49 left in the first half. And the Islanders, if they can cut this to within 10, and even so with these halves, getting a run would help. They've been a little reluctant to shoot the 3 ball, though. Marr will take it, and he's short. And last touch by the Mustangs. So DeLaSalle with a dead ball offensive rebound.
That's one thing DeLaSalle is doing great today. They're crashing the boards. They're not as sized as some teams are, especially losing Travis. But they're crashing the boards hard. They're playing very, very scrappy in the last 10 minutes of this half.
Anem for 3. Can't hit it there. I don't think DeLaSalle has hit a triple yet. They have not.
No, they have not. No.
But Levette has hit a few. He's going to curl. Entry pass.
Amazing.
And the finish
He's
for
got
Jamal
the
Burton.
Whole arsenal.
Well, he's kind of like Kobe Bryant. You can't score all the time. Johnson with a 17-foot pull-up. That's his first field goal of the game. And I have a feeling they've got to get him going offensively for DeLaSalle to work their way back. And that's going to be a foul on the Islanders. They had 2 to give. 1:56 left in the first half. And we mentioned all the DeLaSalle names. The Travis brothers. Of course, Reed played here last year.
Jarvis Johnson, his 3rd personal. Team's 5th.
And if you go back to some of their earlier days, back in the late 90s, Ben Johnson, who would go to the U of M. That name might sound familiar to you.
Yes. He's a good ball player. He had a shot.
And don't forget, Kevin Love once played on this floor. Of course, he's now playing for Cleveland. And Levette draws a foul. That's DeLaSalle's last. That's going to be on Gabe Kalsher. And coming up, we'll try to get a sideline report from Don Ackerman. But whether or not we do that, we'll have Leah Bjolson join us in the booth to share her insights on the prep season. Of course, she covers it frequently, one of the state tournament broadcasters. So we'll get to hear what she has to say. And she's a big supporter of this event. That's for 2.
Oh, my.
But pure once more. Marcus Levesque up to 26.
Call him a car wash, man. He's automatic. Stuart Scott.
He must be the bus driver because he's taking DeLaSalle to school.
Oh, man.
But again, DeLaSalle, they're one key run away from threatening here. Marr used up his dribble, but gets the roll. That's his first basket.
It's good strength by him to get off balance. He got the shot up. Good play.
And there you hear the vocal commands from Dave Thorson. He and Faith Johnson-Patterson, if you were to put the two together, probably the loudest tandem in coaching, but they're very passionate about this profession. And DeLaSalle forcing a turnover here, so if they can get one more bucket, cut this margin to 10, maybe 9. Psychologically speaking, it would benefit them.
Oh, tremendously. Going to half down 10, the whole psyche changes.
Well, and again, Jarvis Johnson hasn't found his stroke yet, but DeLaSalle has players who can threaten. And the deflection from Jamal Burton, but it goes back to Josh Collins, who's headed to North Dakota. The Big Sky member, currently a school without a nickname. Anim drives and scores. They do leave time for Morgan Park, though, to respond. Anim with the deflection, almost came up with it, but it goes out of bounds. Morgan Park with 11.9 left to devise a play. But you have to give Anim credit. Started off sluggish, and now he's up to 14.
Yeah, especially in the foul trouble that he was in. To get it going through foul trouble like that, it's very good by him. His mental, he's there, he's there. Because when you go down two fouls quick, it's hard to get back in that stroke.
And we're going to have a timeout here with 11.9, so that gives us another chance to plug our sponsors and our show. So, which one shall we read today? It's Anoka Ramsey. Anoka Ramsey Community College brings you closer to career growth, earning potential and confidence. A college education is an investment in you. Pursue your passion at Anoka Ramsey Community College, Coon Rapids, or Cambridge. And by the Urgency Room. Accident, sports injury, or just not feeling well? Don't wait. Get to the Urgency Room in Eagan, Woodbury, or Van Ness Heights. Go to the Urgency Room to view wait times and check in online. We want to thank you for your support. Let's take a look at the last play, or one of the last plays. It seems Marcus Levesque is giving us an entire highlight reel. We cycled a few of these already, but 26 points, and that's only the first half. He may threaten some of our top scores here, and he can't get 28. DeLaSalle's time. They have to hurry. 5 seconds. Do they recognize the clock? Marr, he sees it. Goes, draws the foul. Well, it would have been nice to get the deuce, but another chance to score some points here and get within single digits before halftime.
Yeah, it's a huge play by him. He's quicker than fast. You don't expect him to get to the rim that quick. Maybe that's why they got him on the foul, but good play. Hopefully they can hit both of these free throws.
Marr averaging 7.2 points per game. And that's the first miss. And even so, you know, it's a manageable margin for DeLaSalle. So they've withstood this initial assault from Morgan Park, and they'll have some time to regroup. Marr misses both, and there will be no time for follow-up with Morgan Park, but they take a 35-25 lead to intermission thanks to 26 points from Morgan Levesque. Your thoughts?
Very good first half by Morgan Park. Even though they have you never see that. 3 turnovers for DeLaSalle, 9 turnovers for Morgan Park.
So we're at halftime here. We're going to bring in Leah Bjolson. Our halftime show is coming up next. She's going to be a part of it. DeLaSalle trailing Morgan Park 35-25. This is the 19th annual Timberwolves Shootout on SchoolSpaceMedia.tv.
You're watching the 2015 Timberwolves Shootout. brought to you by School Space Media and Stream Powered Productions. This game is brought to you in part by Anoka Ramsey Community College and Anoka Technical. It's more than a college. It's a community dedicated to your success. And by the Urgency Room. With locations in Eagan, Woodbury, and Vadnais Heights, they'll have you in fast and home soon. Go to the Urgency Room. The halftime show is coming up next.
Who cares what it holds if it can't hold your gaze? Who cares how tight it can turn if it can't turn heads? Who cares how capable it is if it's incapable of creating a reaction? Any SUV can move something, but can it move you? Introducing the first ever Lexus NX Turbo and Hybrid. Once you go beyond utility, there's no going back.
Get the best values at Village Chevrolet. Village Chevrolet has the largest selection of the new 2015 Tahoe and Suburban models in the Twin Cities. Visit villagechev.com. Chevrolet, find new roads.
Welcome back to Target Center. This is our halftime show as School Space Media continues its coverage of the Timberwolves shootout in its 19th season, and a part of that in its early years was Leah B. Olson, and she's sitting next to me. Leah, always great to have you up here, and what do you think of our new accommodations for this shootout?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. This is always one of my favorite events to get down to at Target Center. I like the accommodations. It looks comfortable. You can see the court well. So I like it.
And we even have replays.
Very
as
nice.
you can see here.
It's impressive.
A strong first half from Morgan Park, and we talked last year, and you always enjoyed the competition that comes up here, the out-of-state schools. And Marcus Levette is putting on a show, and I'd say making a very outstanding introduction to the Minnesota audience.
Well, I agree. I mean, this player is something special, that how quick he is in that first step. It's so difficult to guard him, but it's one of these players where you hear so much about him before the game, and everyone was talking about the buzz that surrounded him, and then when he lives up to it in the first half, it's pretty exciting to watch.
And for the Minnesota teams, DeLaSalle's within 10. Of course, you get to see them as well, being the state tournament broadcaster on the TV station that airs our show, 45 TV. And what have you seen so far from the Minnesota schools that's making an impression for you?
Well, first of all, I think they're really well coached, and we start right here with this DeLaSalle team. You can see that athletically they're a bit outmatched here today, but they are so well coached that they will remain and stay in this game, and I think you really see that across the board today in the games that we've watched.
And any other teams that stand out for you? I know Apple Valley's ranked number 2. Champlain Park comes here next. They're ranked number 1 in the boys. And in the girls, in 4A, you've got a 2-horse race with Hopkins and Eastview, Park Center and Orono in 3A, and 1A and 2A is wide open.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really fun this year. We have some really big teams who are returning who did big things last year, so the expectations are higher. So you're always anxious to see how they're going to play coming back into another season. I think it really looks good. Cretin-Derham Hall we saw today. That's going to be an interesting team to watch as they move towards the state tournament, because they are a solid team. They play good basketball. Can they take it up to the next notch? Apple Valley, we know we like the things that we've been seeing from Gary Trent's son. Just an amazing team all around, but when you have a big man like that, it just changes everything. So just some exciting players, exciting teams.
Don't forget Trey Jones. Now, of course, you got your broadcasting start here, if I recall. At least you got the foot in the door. You've been involved in that for some time. So how did your involvement with the Wolves kind of help you get to where you are in your career?
Well, coming into working with the Minnesota Timberwolves, they brought me in the marketing department, but they always knew that my goal was eventually to move to broadcasting. So any opportunity that I had, any interview I could get, any practice I could watch and write something about it, they would allow me to do it. So those were kind of the first steps into the door, and then, of course, covering some Gopher stuff and high school stuff. So bit by bit, you kind of piece it together.
And we have a few seconds left, but I want to get a shout out into your daughter who performed in the vocal choir concert last night and playing volleyball. I'm sure you're very proud of what your two kids have been doing. It may not be basketball, but they're carving their own path, and Jada's is with volleyball and vocals.
Yes, that's exactly right. Thank you so much for mentioning Jada and the son Will. They're doing good. Will's a baseball player, Jada's volleyball, so I get to watch all sports.
Leah Bielsen, thank you very much, and I'll bug you again come March when it comes state tournament time. I'll send you the games I've called.
Good, I look
Take
forward
notes.
to it.
Leah Bielsen here at the broadcast booth will return. But first, a Minnesota Prep Spotlight feature. This is the 19th annual Timberwolves Shootout on SchoolSpaceMedia.tv.
She's tall, she's tough, and she can score. You could say 6'2" senior Samantha Trammell is the complete package in the paint.
Sam brings such a great, strong aggression that she's a controlled aggression, but she's always so aggressive. You can always count on it. She's always so intense. You never have to worry that she's not playing her hardest because she always is.
She provides an inside presence, something she couldn't do last year during Eastview's championship run.
On the court, she brings that inside game for us, but she's also, she's just a tough kid, and she's had to be tough.
Trammell has been on the scene since 8th grade, when she saw her first varsity action. Now, 4 years later, she'll try to help the Lightning win their second straight state championship.
I'm just expecting to have a good senior year, expecting to finish it out great.
Sam's breakout year came in 10th grade, when she averaged nearly 14 points a game. Then last year, zeros. No points, no games.
Samantha transferred from Eden Prairie after her sophomore season and was forced to sit out of all Eastview games last year. But now she's back and ready to have a big impact as a senior.
You know, when you choose to kind of go through that process and sit out a year, you know, she did. She sat out a full year, and that's not an easy thing for a high school kid to do.
Especially when you have to watch your team win a state championship from the bench.
It's kind of hard, but they're my teammates, and I support them, and if they win, I win.
But her teammates could tell it wasn't always easy for the new kid on the block, but they say she was as much a part of the team as anyone.
One of the things people forget is that Sam was with us all of last year, and even though she didn't play any games, she practiced against us every day. So she has made these kids competitive and physical, and for 2 years now.
And now for Trammell, it's once again time to bring that intensity on game day.
It feels so good to finally play again. Having to sit out here was really hard, but it made me a better person.
Expectations are high for the #1 team in the state, and Lightning could very well strike twice with a new star in the post. In Hopkins, I'm Ryan Phelps for Minnesota Prep Spotlight.
What? Where's my Twitter? I did read my Twitter. I read your messages. That was a feature on Eastview playing at the Breakdown Sports USA Tip-Off Classic, and we have another interview coming up with Jeff Munichke. We talked to him earlier today. Here is Don Ackerman.
Jeff, tell us a little bit about today and putting it together.
Yeah, you know, it's our great opportunity to showcase Minnesota's top talent, great coaches, great players, obviously great games. So this is the 19th year we've been doing our
Hey,
Timberwolves
Adam,
events.
I did get your...
And it's just, once again, it's a labor of love for us where it's a great give back to the basketball community. And once again, we have a great matchups today. And by the way, it's kind of a 5-for-1 deal, 4 great high school games, and the Timberwolves and Spurs tonight as well.
So if you buy a ticket to this game, you can stay here all day and then come to the night game.
Yeah, all day. You know, in fact, you'll see a lot of our fans that are here up with their tub of popcorn, the newspaper. They're spread out for the day, and they'll stay for the entire day of basketball.
And then you get teams not only from Minnesota, but you get them from the region as well. How do you talk some of these guys into coming here?
Yeah, so what we do is we're usually working almost a year in advance. Obviously, the Minnesota schools, we have our fingers on a pulse on, who are the teams with the top talent, top programs on a year-to-year basis. We're already starting to lock into next year, as a matter of fact. And then around the region and around the country. So we've had teams as far as, Oregon, California, and New York. But we've tried to stay a little bit more regional just because basketball in the Midwest has become so strong.
So basically, you're kind of scouting these guys so you can have great talent at these events.
all the time, and you're always looking for who are the underclassmen, who are the freshmen, sophomores, and juniors coming up, who are the programs with a lot of returning players, and you're looking at always trying to advance it so you lock it in a year in advance. It's always the first or second Saturday in January every year, so we've already notified some of the schools that we have the pulse on for next year, and we'll start getting all our outstate schools locked in here in the next month.
Oh, this is a great event, Jeff. Thanks for pulling it off.
My pleasure.
Thanks.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Don Ackerman. And we're about to start the second half here at the 19th annual Minnesota Timberwolves Shootout. Don't forget, this is live coverage here on schoolspacemedia.tv, and you can get a hold of me on Twitter at @TheSportsBrain. One of our camera operators has. Adam sending his greeting over to me, even though we stand about 10 feet from each other. Actually, 10 is also the margin that Morgan Park holds over DeLaSalle. Here's a look at the first half numbers. 26 points for Marcus Levet, 11 of 17 from the floor. 4 for 8 from three-point range, and only 1 turnover against him. As a whole, Morgan Park shooting 62.5%, 15 of 24. DeLaSalle shooting just under 40%, 9 of 23. And really, that's the difference in this score. Morgan Park with the higher shooting percentage.
Yeah, Levet was amazing in that first half.
Anim was 5 of 9, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, and DeLaSalle as a whole is 7 of 9 from the free throw line.
Good way to start the half for DeLaSalle with the turnover.
Well, and DeLaSalle plays tough defense. We know that. A very stingy team, and that's how they've won their state titles. Those games over Austin weren't offensive feasts. Here's an M from the corner. That's short, but the weak side rebound by Dobbinton. He can't get the follow through, and a dead ball rebound to Morgan Park. And while this is live coverage of the Timberwolves Shootout, don't forget, you can come down here tonight. Minnesota Timberwolves play the San Antonio Spurs, the first team to hire. Whoa! That's an unscripted alley-oop. Melo Burrell lost his footing for a moment, but Burrell recovers in time and gets the layup fading away. Still counts for 2.
Yep, still counts the same.
I was going to say the Timberwolves playing the Spurs, the first team to hire a full-time female assistant coach, referring to Becky Hammond, who the WNBA legend who played with the Liberty, and the San Antonio Stars. Jarvis Johnson drawing the foul. He'll go to the line.
Yeah, the Spurs. I think that was a good move by them. Maybe it could set a trend because everyone's. If you can coach, you can coach. Don't matter what you're on.
So Johnson at the line. Now going back to that heart attack story, he was dead for 7 to 12 minutes. The exact time is uncertain. They brought his father in to speak to him, and then he regained his pulse, and his father was encouraged to continue talking to him. So his father, I guess, gets some credit for Jarvis Johnson's proverbial revival. But Thorson said his attitude, his love of the game, his maturing, he respects that about him. He misses both free throws, though, and DeLaSalle, after a 7 of 7 start, has missed the last 4. But Thorson said Jarvis is one of those high school athletes who younger kids look to. Jarvis does a marvelous job not letting the notoriety affect him. Levet rolls it in. Levet doing a good job not letting the NBA confines disrupt him either.
Yes, he's continuing where he left off in the first half.
Bounce pass, but Dobbinton's in trouble. Collins for 3. That's short. DeLaSalle still has not hit a triple. They are currently 0 for 8, and the outlet pass too strong. It will go to the Islanders.
Another turnover.
That really is the huge difference when you look at the three-point shooting. Morgan Park 5 of 9. DeLaSalle now 0 for 8.
Yeah, that is the difference in this game is the three-point shot and the turnovers. Oh, loose foul.
That's going to be on Dobbinton. And speaking of social media, your brother gave us a shout out on Facebook.
Oh, he did?
Yes.
Nice.
Tagged us.
Oh, Rashad McCants jersey. I haven't seen that.
In about 10 years.
10 years.
It was about 10 years ago, I believe, when he won the 2005 title with North Carolina.
Yeah.
They beat Illinois that year. Barr from the left wing. And DeLaSalle with its first triple.
Stroke it.
Well, you know DeLaSalle, they're not going to back away from what makes them successful.
No, they're not. They're not going to shy away from exactly what you said. What makes them successful?
Levette with the counter, and most teams have the discipline to know that the best way to get out of a shooter slump is to keep shooting. Don't let the defense get an easier assignment on you. Johnson, NBA range, pure! Johnson up to 7, and the 14-point margin is down to 8. Traveling violation, and DeLaSalle getting on a surge, perhaps.
This is exactly the way they wanted to start. Come out with intensity and cash in on their opportunities.
And as we noted, 10-point margin in the first half, a very manageable distance. 1 run and they're back in this, and DeLaSalle, we know they're flexible. They can run many tempos, fast, slow, moderate. And if they four-peat, as I mentioned, it would be the first time in 12 years that the bounce pass inside is lost by an im. The only school in the 4-class era to win 4 straight state championships, Minneapolis Patrick Henry from 2000 through 2003. The head coach of that team, Larry McKenzie. Reverse and up and under move was no good from Charlie Moore, but we have a foul on the way down, and it's going to be against DeLaSalle. 39-31 the score in favor of Morgan Park.
DeLaSalle foul number 14.
Morgan Park looking to be the first out-of-state school to win today, and of course these are non-conference games, so pride on the line. The drive and the deuce for Levette. He's up to 30. I haven't seen a one-man show like this since the Broman kids of Lakeville Christian. Anim for 3. Yes! Anim. He's not going to be ignored. He's up to 17. Levette draws the blocking foul. Are they going to give him the shooting motion? No, it's going to be a side out.
We were just talking about the three-point game. They've whacked 2 straight three-pointers down now.
Right, back-to-back threes after missing the first 8.
It can happen like that. You said, keep shooting.
I don't care who you are, what league you're in. Every game I've covered, Lynx, Gophers, high school, if you get away from your foundation, your backbone, you're going to make it very easy for the defense to stop you. I don't care how many threes you miss. Don't make them leave it behind. Speaking of behind, Dobbinton comes from behind to get the skip from Anim, I believe.
Big man running the floor. I reward him.
And the deficit is back to 5 again. DeLaSalle trimmed it to 5 early in the first before Levette exploded. And nice read on the passing lane. Moore faking the 3. Baseline drive, kicks out. 3-pointer from Randall. Bullseye.
Jared Randall.
Randall with his first triple. Timeout. 13-10 left in the second.
From Moore.
And I've got a feeling we might have some more sponsor plugs.
Timeout, Morgan Park.
I just have this feeling. Yes, we do. I'm on this. Anoka Technical, one of our sponsors, they provide the opportunity and the tools to get our dream on track. Your dream too. Get an associate degree helping you toward a 4-year degree. Anoka Technical has 35 career programs to help you achieve your dreams. And Minnesota Prep Spotlights. Let's get one of those. Here we are. Every week on Minnesota Prep Spotlight, you see more highlights from every sport and great feature stories on Minnesota Prep athletes. I have one that plays tonight. Chrissy Wendell and Tori Holt host a weekly show on 45 TV at 11 p.m. on Saturdays and on demand at schoolspacemedia.tv. Minnesota Prep Spotlight, your home for the most comprehensive coverage of high school sports. And on tonight's show, we've got basketball, we've got hockey, we've got wrestling. We had coverage of the Clash last week, the big wrestling event down in Rochester. And we even have some skiing. We have a profile on Louis Nguyen out of Chanhassen, who's shattering some barriers on the slopes. And of course, my story on Tyler Johnson also airs tonight. And again,
So you're going to want to check that out. You're going to
coverage
want
of the
tune
Clash.
in.
Yes, you want to check that out, and check us out every week. We will love you if you watch us.
Yeah, don't forget. Set it in.
We'll be sure to send you a thank you card.
Yes.
We want you to watch our programs. And if you're not in the broadcast area, as we mentioned, you can watch online at schoolspacemedia.tv. And while you wait for our latest show, you can watch all of our archives. We go back to August from our very first show. And this DeLaSalle team has been featured a few times on our show, and they probably will be a few more times before the season is out. 3 triples in a row. This time Sam Jones drains the tray. DeLaSalle 0 for 8 to start, 3 of 3 since.
That's how sometimes it works. You can't let up.
The runner. Well, no, that was a skip pass instead. Off the window and in for Jamal Burton, and he's up to 6. You have to have presumed Morgan Park will look to get some scoring outside of Levette to prevent DeLaSalle from charging back. Scramble for the ball, won by Anim, and that gives him an open basket. Anim up to 19 points for 3. Off the heel. That was from Burton, and the rebound by Jones. DeLaSalle could push again. Collins lost his handling for a moment. Anim kicks out. Jones fakes the 3. Now he drives to the lane. Finger roll is wiped away. Charging call on Jones. That will be his first personal foul.
Yeah, that was a good play by them. Good play by Morgan Park. Set your feet. Take the contact. Heads up play. You like that unselfish play.
Well, even Kobe Bryant has to get a few assists. Actually, he, I believe, is among the career leaders in assists, but he has such a high scoring reputation.
Yeah, that you don't
gotta forget about that.
Yeah,
Michael Jordan, he's somebody who had a lot of points, but he could contribute a lot. But I digress. Moore, up and under and in. Charlie Moore up to 7, and the lead is back to 7, 48-41, with 11:30 and counting in regulation. And these last 4 minutes of the game, I'm going to be curious to see how Morgan Park handles it, because remember, they play the quarter system. Minnesota, the only state to play halves, and you play 8-minute quarters. So, backdoor cut, and Kelster cuts one in.
Moving without the ball is just almost as important as when you got the ball. You got to keep going.
But to finish up that statement, Morgan Park going to have to play an extra 4 minutes than they're used to. Levette almost lost the handle and makes the most of it. The way he's playing, you think he made it up on the spot. No backcourt violation. Anim did not cross the half-court line completely. As long as you don't do that, you will not turn over the ball. But Levette, where did this kid come from? How come we haven't heard of him before?
I'm telling you, the only
you probably watched some tape of him, but
yeah, the only thing that's going to stop this kid is when there's 3 zeros on the board. The game's over with. He's unstoppable.
Anim draws the foul on Alonzo Chapman, and I believe they'll give him the shooting motion as he was attacking the basket. And that's exactly what they do. DeLaSalle has missed their last 4 free throws. Anim is 4 of 4 from the line. And he's still perfect. And we cannot ignore Anim's effort. 20 points. And if Levette wasn't on the floor, Anim would probably be getting the bulk of our praise right now.
Yeah, and you won't even notice it because Levette, but he's having a really good game, Anim. Very good game.
Anim, 6 of 6 from the free throw line. And it's a 6-point margin. DeLaSalle still in contention. 10:33 left as they call timeout. We will pause momentarily. This is the 19th annual Timberwolves Shootout on schoolspacemedia.tv.
Who cares what it holds if it can't hold your gaze? Who cares how tight it can turn if it can't turn heads? Who cares how capable it is if it's incapable of creating a reaction? Any SUV can move something, but can it move you? Introducing the first ever Lexus NX Turbo and Hybrid. Once you go beyond utility, there's no going back.
Get the best values at Village Chevrolet. Village Chevrolet has the largest selection of the new 2015 Tahoe and Suburban models in the Twin Cities. Visit villagechev.com. Chevrolet, find new roads.
Join you with 10:20 left in the second half. Levette pulls up. Can't drain the deuce. The rebound goes to Levette. He'll get another try. Sees an opening. Charges. Comes up short. The putback is no good. And it will stay with Morgan Park. That was Austin Price.
Good heads-up play by Morgan Park to keep the ball to their side. Levette he's the point, but he's more the bigger of the two guards, which is weird because their shooting guard is 5'10", 5'11", 5'10".
Height is a number. Baseline pull-up is no good. Rebound will be corralled by Sam Jones. And he finds Aneem. Let's see what DeLaSalle does here. Aneem is stripped from behind. Charlie Moore. Here we go. Not quite. And that's a tough break for Morgan Park. Had a chance to make this a 7-point game again. Instead,
that's their
DeLaSalle gets another possession.
13th turnover. It's keeping DeLaSalle in the game big time. 13 turnovers.
Returns for Morgan Park.
By the way, as we see the promotional banner on our screen, have you watched our Minnesota Prep Spotlight show yet?
Yes, I have. Very good show. Check it out.
I edit the show every week, so if you see some text that's misspelled or some misaligned audio as we have a traveling violation on going on, those are my signatures. And highlights that don't match up. You see any of that, that's all me.
So I can blame you?
Yes, you can. No. We've had some long hours, and the football season was a mental test with Fridays and Saturdays, getting all of those highlights in, but it's a fun, and I'm glad to be a part of a show that airs on broadcast television. And we don't just cover the big sports, as you've seen. Oh, Levette trying to get the assist that time, had the right idea, but Randall couldn't put down the triple. You will not find too many high school shows that are a half an hour long that cover the depth of sports that we do.
No, it's very refreshing to see it. I love watching the program. Like you said, you cover it all, not just high school.
If it's a sport, we are there. Just don't ask us to make a birthday cake. On the drive, no finish. Morgan Park really scrappy for the rebounds, and unfortunately it's wiped away with Austin Price traveling. But these last few possessions, Morgan Park is crashing the offensive glass.
Yeah, it could be their point of emphasis. Crash the boards, the hustle, second chance points, hustle points. That's what you want out of your team, especially from a team like Morgan Park.
Johnson left alone and one. And one indeed. You're catching on here, Andrew. I'm proud of you. That's Jarvis Johnson's first basket of the second half, or his second, I should say. He's up to 9 points.
If they can get him going, Morgan Park better watch out.
If you're curious, Jarvis Johnson will join Kevin Dorsey, Dupree McBrayer, and Jonathan Dwanko in next year's recruiting class, helmed by Richard Pitino. The Gophers are struggling a little bit right now in Big Ten play as Johnson completes a three-point play. 0-3 to start. And conversely, the women who are thought to struggle at this point of the year are 3-0 with the big test against Maryland tomorrow.
That's going to be a huge Big Ten game.
I'll be there for that one. And the Gophers feel that Johnson committing to stay home with Pitino in may inspire other in-state players to don the maroon and gold. That was a weak point for Tubby Smith in his years. I mean, he got the team to the next level, but he couldn't get them beyond that, and that was the general criticism. And keeping recruits was one of those problems. 5-second violation, DeLaSalle's defense. Look at this, 50-48. They could take the lead on this possession.
Yeah, it's the closest they've been since the beginning of the game.
That's right. They haven't led at all.
No, they have not. Wire to wire so far from Morgan Park.
But Richard Pitino, wow, Jarvis Johnson. That is going to leave Dave Thorson stymied. You had a chance, you forced a turnover, and you commit a foul before the inbound pass.
And that's a very silly foul by Johnson.
And that's his fourth. DeLaSalle's going to be without their floor general for a few minutes.
Collins returns for the Islanders.
Yeah, maybe it's best for him. That was just a silly mistake. You don't want to do that.
But he'll bounce back as he usually does. As Johnson, he knows he makes this team click, and miscommunication. Levette was the target, but he was too far away, and DeLaSalle gets a second chance.
Morgan Park was just like, hey, we'll give it right back to you. We'll make a
I don't think that was their intent. And Nick Urban's not going to be pleased about that. DeLaSalle can take the lead with a 3. And remember, Aneem has been finding his rhythm. He's up to 21. He's going to be key, though, with Johnson riding the bench right now. And a foul. Morgan Park had 2 to give. That's going to go against Burrell. And that will be his 3rd.
Morgan Park foul, number 15, Melo Burwell. His 3rd personal. Team's 5th.
And Jarvis Johnson's going to go back in. Only 30 seconds off.
Returns for DeLaSalle.
Bold move by Thornton to send him in with 8 minutes to go with 4 fouls.
Risk is part of the game if you want to sit in the coach's chair.
Yeah.
Hey, get through there.
And up here, we can always discuss those moves. And in for the lead! And he's perfect.
The crowd erupts.
4 for 4 after an 0 of 8 start from behind the line. DeLaSalle with their first lead of the game. 51-50. Levette breaks through but comes up empty. Offensive rebound by Burton. And Morgan Park has a chance to reset. Levette wants it. Off the heel again. Johnson on the run. He's got to be careful. And he draws the blocking foul. Moore was not able to get his feet set in time. I was wondering how that was going to play out. But instead, Jarvis Johnson, if that is Morgan Park's 7th.
Team's 6th.
It's their 6th, but they're going to give Johnson the shooting motion anyway, so Johnson gets 2 free throws here, and DeLaSalle's in the bonus for the remainder of the game.
Yeah, very good play by Johnson. You didn't know if he was going to, like you said, get that foul call. He just hung in the air just a little extra to get it. And one thing they're doing, they're clogging the lanes when Levette tries to penetrate because they know he wants to get to the rim. Every time he's going left or right, they're clogging the lanes, and he's forcing shots right now. That's what he's been doing, and that's not his game. So if you're DeLaSalle, you got to be real pleased with how your defense has responded in the second half.
Johnson, perfect again. DeLaSalle, 11 of 15 altogether. Morgan Park has not shot a free throw. Just 1. So they have shot once, but that's it.
It's not going to get the job done.
Well, if Levette, he only has 6 points after 26 in the first half, and those long-distance shots aren't falling now for Morgan Park. And we talk about this all the time in basketball. 3-point shooting can be a streaky option.
Yes, it's
but Levette will fire again, and he's short. The rebound and drawing the foul is Burton. That's against Marr.
Very good play by Burton. Crashed the boards. He got in there, picked up the offensive rebound. That's exactly what you want. Hustle play.
His 2nd personal. Team's 5th.
That's the 2nd on Marr, and this is going to be the first traditional free throw trip for the Mustangs. We'll get to see Jamal Burton, and we really haven't been able to talk about these guys too much because they haven't gone to the line.
Yeah, it was more of the Levette show, but in the second half, it's kind of more of a team effort. They're, like I said, they're clogging the lanes for Levette. They're rolling with the 3-guard lineup, right? Wait, that's just still 3-guard lineup out there. So their quickness they're going to be the key for Morgan Park.
And Morgan Park, we mentioned DeLaSalle's playing their 5th national team on the schedule. Morgan Park has also played several teams from outside Illinois. Burton splits though, so DeLaSalle still holding to a 2-point lead. And remember, they can play a very flexible tempo, so I'm curious to see what they'll do in front. And that is where they really crush opponents. That's how they beat Austin twice. And who can forget that buzzer beater win over Washburn? Marr, that would have been a huge 3. You remember that game with Washburn? It was Ross Barker who got the win.
No, I can't recall it.
That was in overtime, the most dramatic 10 seconds you'll ever see. And Morgan Park's going to call a bailout timeout call to keep the ball with 6:11 left. 53-51. DeLaSalle leads. This is the 19th annual Timberwolves Shootout on SchoolSpaceMedia.tv.
Who cares what it holds if it can't hold your gaze? Who cares how tight it can turn if it can't turn heads? Who cares how capable it is if it's incapable of creating a reaction? Any SUV can move something, but can it move you? Introducing the first ever Lexus NX Turbo and Hybrid. Once you go beyond utility, there's no going back.
What was it, Washburn? So how was it?
We're back, and so let's tell you about that Washburn game. Craziest 10 seconds in overtime. Washburn, though, had they made their free throws, different story. 3A championship. They get a fast break look with about 10 seconds to go to take a 1-point lead. And here's Levette. Cannot draw the foul, but they do get one, and that's DeLaSalle's last. So both teams are now with the bonus for the remainder of this game.
DeLaSalle foul number 14, going our bar. His third personal. Team 6.
Barr with his third personal foul. So DeLaSalle has to run. They know they don't have time for a set. They've got to go in transition. Ross Barker was open on the baseline and drains the deuce to give DeLaSalle its most exciting state tournament win. That play etched in memory, and Marr cannot get the steal. And we mentioned some of the alumni that have come through. The Travis brothers, Luke Scott, I remember interviewing him a couple of years ago. He got such a big hug from Dave Thorson, as he does for all his outgoing players, because he really cares about them. And he said he couldn't breathe. Levette, that's almost went over the backboard, but DeLaSalle gets the dead ball rebound anyway. Cameron Rundles having a great overseas career is another one, and good buddy of mine, I mentioned him last year, Teddy Archer, now a full-fledged sports agent, travels around the country and around the world, getting his clients with international teams, and he hosts the year-round tryout camp.
Oh, good
that
for
in
him.
its second year. I had the chance to attend those camps, not as a hopeful. I would be laughed out of the gym, but brings a lot of guys who want to play the sport. And Teddy Archer has really developed a lot of connections, and it's great to see him becoming a top-notch sports agent. And he won a national championship with St. Thomas in his senior year in college in Division III. So championship's not foreign to Teddy Archer either. Marr, bullseye! You think DeLaSalle's regained control?
Yeah, they just took it over the second half.
Here's Levette. Well, he's going to shoot two.
Good play by Levette. They seem like they don't really draw up plays. They just, let's see if, we can, kind of like the OKC. Let's just see if we can just,
Well, and with DeLaSalle now in the penalty, both teams in the penalty now, this is a chance for Levette to pad his numbers, and they need him to do that because 6 points so far in the second half, 26 in the first.
Yeah, he wants to come out and still show these people, hey, that first half was no fluke. I'm coming out here. And look for him to drive every single play or continue on what he's been doing.
And I have a feeling he's going to be instrumental if Morgan Park wants to regain the lead here. Levette gets the back end. Morgan Park, 2 of 5. DeLaSalle, and my last check was 11 of 15. These are unofficial numbers. Anem coast to coast, and the layup. Anem is catching up to Levette here, but they leave Morgan Park open, and the fast break deuce for Melo Burrell. And that's going to be key for Morgan Park, getting some of these other players involved. When you have such dynamic scores like Levette, you got to make sure that the others are respected, or they're just going to crowd Levette every time it touches the ball.
Yeah, you got to keep the ball moving. Can't be a 1-on-5 game.
Last time I checked, you don't win basketball games that way.
No, even Jordan had help.
In the form of Scottie Pippen, Joshua Collins drawing the foul on the drive. That foul will go against Burrell, and that is his 4th. Remember, both teams in the bonus.
Mustang foul on number 15.
Did you see that? They were huddling up. Morgan Park were huddling up. And Joshua Collins went into their huddle like he was part of the team. That was funny.
You'll see opponents try to sneak in there once in a while. Collins missing the front end, though. Joshua Collins on the season, 10.2 points per game.
Oh, man.
Not
top 10?
I don't know if that's top 10 or not top 10 worthy, but
man.
Hey, it happens all the time. Collins misses both free throws, though, so that keeps the margin at 4. But DeLaSalle has held on to their cushion for a while. Do you ever try sneaking in an opponent's huddle in football?
No.
Actually, I don't think they allow that. You'd be taking a 5-yard penalty.
Yeah, you'd get, yeah.
And DeLaSalle forcing another turnover. Their defense resurrecting in some capacity here in the second half, and this is where we said DeLaSalle wins their games on defense. They don't always have to put up high scoring numbers.
No, they're showing it. They've been grinding the whole second half. Very impressive.
And that's why they're a favorite in Class 3A. But St. Paul Johnson, they're putting together a strong team as well. They're ranked number 2, and they have some unfinished business as Jarvis Johnson, that would have erupted the crowd here at Target Center had he put that one in. But St. Paul Johnson, 2nd in Class 3A, looking to get some vengeance after losing to St. Paul Central in their section final last year, and they had dominated that series for years.
Yeah, they have.
And then Johnson with a shocking upset loss, and I have a feeling that's going to motivate the team led by Vern Simmons. Jarvis Johnson will continue his numbers. And he makes both. Even though DeLaSalle hasn't been perfect, they are outperforming Morgan Park just in attempts. I mean, 13 of 19 is much better than 2 of 5.
Oh yeah.
And if I'd say that accounts for a large part of DeLaSalle's comeback.
Yeah, they've gotten to the line. They've had a game plan in the second half.
Turnaround, no finish, but following his own miss is Jamal Burton. But the shooting percentage for Morgan Park in the second half has dovetailed after that 62.5% mark. That's a backcourt violation. Anim received the pass in the front court and then stepped over. Now, because his feet crossed the line, he is considered over. If any part of his body touched the line, that would have been a legal pass or legal position.
I can hear Thornton from up here.
Donuts? Did you say donuts?
I can hear Thornton from up here.
Oh, Dave Thorson.
Yeah,
But donuts sound good, don't they?
Oh, yeah, they do. What are you more of a...
But we have a reach-in foul here on Alonzo Chapman, and that is his 5th, and he fouls out of the game. Jarvis Johnson should go to the line here since it was a loose ball foul. So Alonzo Chapman fouls out without scoring a point.
Not a good showing for him. You don't want to do that at any time. 0 points, 5 fouls.
And as always, you get 30 seconds to make a substitution when a player fouls out. And Nick Irvin will take advantage of every one of those seconds.
So you're more of a Glaze guy or a Bismarck guy? Or cherry filling guy?
I'm a Krispy Kreme guy, I guess.
Kreme?
Glazed. I'll take the glazed.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say that?
You just said
Maybe
it.
we did. Well, I'll also say this. If you wish to hit me up on Twitter, you can do so at The Sports Brain, and Andrew and I will be here for this and our next game. The Sports Brain, TheSportsBrain. We'd love to hear from you. Jarvis Johnson has a chance to pad DeLaSalle's lead. He's worked his way up to 14 points. After a slow start for him, too, he just had 4 in the first. And that has been the theme for DeLaSalle. Slow start, strong finish, both from Anim and Jarvis Johnson.
You can tell this team's got mental toughness to bounce back from an early deficit and to come out the way they have done in the second half. Very impressive. No wonder they're 3-time defending champs.
Well, when you've won so many championships, you're used to the success. Johnson makes both free throws. DeLaSalle, 15 of 21. And that is a microcosm of Morgan Park's second half.
Foul on Dobbinton.
Jeffrey Dobbinton.
Is first. Team 8. Mello Burwell at the line, shooting 1.
And we mentioned Iowa State. Shauna Johnson actually played today, the older sister of Jarvis Johnson. And Iowa State getting the upset over number 3 Texas. They were one of 4 undefeated teams left in NCAA Division I women's basketball.
Wow, huge.
So Shauna Johnson getting a big upset in Iowa State under Bill Fennelly. They've had a strong program. Here's DeLaSalle. Oh, Dobbinton, he lost the handle, had a wide open lane, and it comes up empty. And Marr commits the foul. A silly sequence for the Islanders. Dave Thorson will not be pleased about what transpired.
No, he was just thinking too much on that wide open layup. I don't know what he was thinking about. Maybe this guy's going to catch up to me. Or
sometimes you get so open and you get a little nervous. Is somebody coming from behind? Am I gonna make this?
Am I gonna make this? Or am I gonna Shaq in a fool?
Well, Shaq is always a fool, don't you know? I love watching his pre-game shows on TNT.
Yeah, he's the man.
Because they are just so silly. I mean, if you want a crew that knows how to have fun, and that's what we try to do at School Space Media. If you saw some of the conversations we had in the office, you would be in fits as well. But we do have a player fouling out. That is Gonar Marr for DeLaSalle, so he will be out of the game, disqualified with 8 points. So both teams now having to play without their notables. We have a good time, though. I've had a great time in my first year with School Space Media. We just finished up our 20th show this season, which is our halfway point. We only have half of the season to go.
Only
20 more shows and about 20,000 more video clips.
Gonar Marr falling out. He played a good game today. Only 8 points. That doesn't show the effort that he put in. Very good.
And we don't have the other numbers here like rebounds, assists. You know, there's more to basketball than points.
Yeah, there's a lot of hidden stats.
But speaking of points, Morgan Park with the key opportunity to get some here at the free throw line, something that has been lacking thus far. And Jamal Burton swishes both in. So this game gets a little more interesting now. It's a 4-point margin. Now you see full court press applied by the Mustangs. And that was a gutsy call. I don't know if you want to go for that right away. You have a lot of time, 2:42. Play some defense.
Now make him work for it, you know, like.
Because now you send a Neem, who has been solid from the free throw line and has put up quite the performance in this game, 26 points. You stop the clock, but DeLaSalle can pad their lead again. Substitution, Burrell is out, Randall is in for the Mustangs. We're gonna run a little bit late. Our next game was scheduled to start at 2:30, but we still have to complete this game. But we want to remind you that we will have the Champlin Park Rice Lake game for you live on SchoolSpaceMedia.tv following the conclusion of this contest. Aneem makes both. DeLaSalle 17 of 23 unofficially, and Aneem is up to 28 points. 17 of 23 free throws, that's a respectable number at the high school level. Levat, he has been neutralized, effectively speaking, in the second half. You can't even get the fouls to go in.
No, it's just, that first half he was so hot, you didn't think it was, I mean, I didn't think it was going to continue.
I thought he was going to threaten those top scores. The record for the Timberwolves shootout, and remember, these are high school league games, so they do count, but Rick Rickard holds that mark with 44 points, doing so back in 2001.
Rick Rickard, hometown boy.
And another guy who got on that list, J.P. McCura, last year, 24.6 rebounds. Of course, he exploded. I think he had 47 in the 4A state championship over Hopkins. I was right over there, almost got ran over by the Lakeville North team in celebration. And it was a game where defense was discarded almost immediately, but Lakeville North upsetting Hopkins, the team that everyone loves to hate. these days after that 4 overtime marathon with Shakopee. I don't know if you remember that, but
yes, that was insane.
Well, they took advantage of no shot clock, and Shakopee was content to stay back in their zone. And really, if Coffee didn't make that 3-pointer, you probably would have had 8 overtimes. It was a stroke of luck that ended the game, because both teams were not going to even risk getting away from what made them successful. But that drew a lot of notoriety. 64-59 score. Levet split on the other end, and things are getting a little sloppy here with 2:17 left.
You're up 5. I don't know why you're necessarily pushing it like that. Maybe you could take some more time off the clock. You know, the objective is to win.
But speaking of top performances, Ben Johnson, who we mentioned, had 41 points back in 1998. Matt Thomas 2 years ago, 43 points, 14 rebounds. And Kevin Love, Mr. Double-Double himself, had 41 points, 17 rebounds, and 7 blocks back in 2007. Levet finally gets one to fall, and he does it the hard way.
Amazing finisher.
That brings him up to 36 points. And a foul on Levet. He had none against him, but DeLaSalle can make this a 2-possession game again from the line.
These are huge free throws right here.
Andre Hollins was another alumni at this event. I should mention him, of course, plays for the Gophers and is currently taken by Rachel Banham, the Minnesota women's guard, if you're familiar with that.
Where did Hollins go in high school?
Hollins went to White Station. Sanjay Lumpkin was also in this event, the stepson of Jim Peterson, the Wolves broadcaster and Lynx assistant coach. Josh Collins gets the front end here. And that is his first point. Josh Collins,
first point,
had not scored until now.
What a good first point with 2 minutes
and
left.
He averages 10.2. That's not too common out of him.
No, it's not.
Alan Anderson, another DeLaSalle grad who's been involved in this event.
Plays from Brooklyn. NBA, Brooklyn.
DeMarcus Cousins played here.
Cousins?
Yeah, Leffler, before he went to Kentucky for the one season. Seemingly every Kentucky player does. That's why they have they can have some great teams, and then they can lose in the first round of the NIT. You never know with them. That's what makes college basketball so exciting. Collins makes both free throws. Levet with a fadeaway, and it's good. And if Levet, if there's a time for him to regain his stroke, it's now. Full court press again. Jarvis Johnson slices through it, finds top of 10.
Unbelievable!
But the follow-up, and it's eventually picked up by Mac. Jamal Burton with a huge block. It's a one-possession game. Levet cannot save it in time. But 1:21 left, a lot of time, a lot of strategy to be played out here. If you're Morgan Park, you can play defense, and that's what they're doing with this full court formation.
Yeah, their intensity level is picked up huge. They need that. They need that intensity. They both want this game. This is not just some out-of-conference game to these kids. They want it.
Well, you always want to win your games. Oh, Morgan Park couldn't corral DeLaSalle there, and now they have to play foul and chase. And they go to Josh Collins, and that's not a bad idea, I suppose. Josh Collins hasn't been too productive today offensively, so go to a player who needs to prove himself, proverbially speaking.
Yeah, hasn't really shot off rhythm, so.
But all he needs is one free throw to make this a two-possession game again. But he got that.
Don't you love that sound?
We have some cameras, as you can see, in the baseline, and it picks up the nets pretty well. And the Wolves have been very accommodating to us over the years. What started off as a small operation, pretty much up in this booth, is now turning into this masterpiece that you see. And Collins making both free throws. That pushes the lead back to 5, but DeLaSalle commits the foul. So Morgan Park can score with the clock stopped at 106.
DeLaSalle foul number 24, Joshua Collins, his first personal.
They're just trading buckets here. Morgan Park's plan is maybe hopefully DeLaSalle can miss a free throw or two. And
But
still
you get to stop the clock.
Yes, and that's huge because time is against you right now for Morgan Park.
And both teams in the double bonus. Levette is at the line. One more, and he would get 40. If he does, he would be the 6th player in the history of the Timberwolves shootout to crack 40 points.
And that's big. You got, like you said, Rick Ricker, Kevin Love, big company in those 40
Ben Johnson,
points.
Cole Steffen. Well, Levette misses there. Jump ball. The possession arrow favors DeLaSalle. And everyone was confused for a moment because this is a professional arena. We do not have the possession arrow here because, as you know, in pro games, with a jump ball, they jump it. I'd like to see that at the lower levels. Just have it jump. This alternating possession, I don't find that to be very dramatic.
Never been a fan of the possession arrow.
Have them jump. These guys can jump. We've seen that. Hey, Max Williams can even jump.
Yeah,
if you remember the Citrus Bowl with Missouri.
Hurdle.
Not once, but twice. And DeLaSalle playing intelligently here, milking clock, and Aneem will shoot 2. As we said, both teams into double bonus.
Oh, they're getting a little chippy down there. Johnson.
No, it was a deflection. I thought it was a foul. Again, this vantage point can be tough to tell sometimes. But that's good for DeLaSalle because they get to chew up a few more seconds. And Levette now commits the foul. He had several available. And Collins will go back to the line. And Collins is 4 of 6.
Yeah, he's come up huge the last couple minutes with his free throws.
It would still be a 2-possession game even if he makes both, but makes it a little bit harder for the Mustangs to rally. Let's see what happens. That's the first. And we should highlight these kids. Cameron Reynolds is among them. You know, they go to Division I schools, maybe not the big names. You know, we love to highlight those guys, but there's so much talent in Division I basketball that guys like Collins and Cameron Rundles a while back, Jamar Diggs, as Collins makes the back end. You don't have to go to a big school to get a big swat. I believe that was a knee.
That was huge.
Let's take a look. Aneem, using Collins as a screen, says, get out of here. And the Lord said, you got to rise up. And a traveling violation on Levette at the worst possible time. DeLaSalle could ice it here if they can get the inbound and a couple of free throws. It's not over yet, but Levette with a critical error.
Yes, he missed that second free throw, which was huge, and then he walked right there. Just mental mistake. The worst timing.
But let's not give the win to DeLaSalle just yet. They fouled Dobbinton, and there's another player who hasn't been active offensively. He has just 4 points. DeLaSalle unofficially 20 of 27, though, from the free throw line. Morgan Park 5 of 11. DeLaSalle has 4 times as many points from the free throw line as Morgan Park.
You're not gonna get much done when you're outscored like that at the free throw line, because that shows a testament.
They're actually going to give Johnson the credit there, so he'll shoot 2. And Johnson, he averages 16 points per game, and he's at that mark here. The youngest of 3, and I spoke with his mother beforehand, and there are no more Johnsons coming up, at least from their line. She has a goddaughter, though, and with Faith being a coach herself, there's always, it's never high school basketball without a Johnson on the floor.
And I'm sure there'll be more Johnsons to come with him and his sister.
Well, it's going to be fun to watch those 2 in college, and the way Shauna Johnson is performing, maybe she makes the WNBA roster someday.
I'm sure.
There has been talk of expansion there. Jarvis Johnson, clutch free throws here. He's up to 18. 26.6 left in this marathon of a game here at the Timberwolves shootout. They lead 70-64 with 26 seconds to go.
Hey, how are ya? Good to see you. What's going on?
Who cares what it holds if it can't hold your gaze? Who cares how tight it can turn if it can't turn heads? Who cares how capable it is if it's incapable of creating a reaction? Any SUV can move something, but can it move you? Introducing the first ever Lexus NX Turbo and Hybrid. Once you go beyond utility, there's no going back.
Yeah, it's a long game.
71-64 is our score. You got to look at some highlights. DeLaSalle may have done just enough to ice this game. Jarvis Johnson with a quiet 18 points, scoring most of them from the free throw line. Sakar Anim up to 28. He had a rough start early, but recovered then. Marcus Levet, 26 points in the first half, 13 in the second, and his shooting touch fell off in the second stanza. Charlie Moore, DeLaSalle will give him the lane. And 9.9 left. Morgan Park had a timeout left, so they'll use it. Charlie Moore up to 9, but might be too late for Morgan Park. But it's not too late to thank our sponsors. It never is too late. The Urgency Room. When minutes matter, there is no need to wait. Visit the Urgency Room for a better ER experience. With locations in Eagan, Woodbury, and Madness Heights, they'll have you out, in and out fast. They'll have you someplace fast. They'll take care of you. And that's it. But we also want to thank Anoka Technical and Anoka Ramsey for their support. And don't forget, Minnesota Prep Spotlight every Saturday night at 11 p.m. on Channel 45. 5.2 on your antenna dial. And if you have cable, just look for KSTC.
Yes, go check that out.
45.
I want to shout out the Urgency Room. I've been there before. It's a very good place. They get you in and out real quick. It's not like the emergency room where you're waiting for hours. So, yeah, it's good. Check that Urgency Room out if you're ever in the case.
And we did not pay him for that plug. But you're good to know. DeLaSalle, they're going to run out time here, and the foul comes a little too late. 3 seconds left. DeLaSalle will move to 8-2 on the year and 4-1 against out-of-state teams. Morgan Park will fall to 10-4. Chance for Anim to pad his numbers. We'll see if we can get a word with him following the conclusion of this game. And I would not be surprised if DeLaSalle comes back here for an encore in March, as they have the last 3 years, looking to accomplish something that has only happened once. And when you think of Dave Thorson and Larry McKenzie, they are legends of coaching, and to have those two with the same honor would be a huge prestige. Anim with an encore. He'll finish with 31 and get himself in the record books. DeLaSalle wins 74-66. We'll try to get a word with Anim and Dave Thorson. We'll take a quick break. This is the 19th annual Timberwolves Shootout on SchoolSpaceMedia.tv.
You're watching 2015 Timberwolves Shootout, brought to you by School Space Media and Stream Powered Productions. This game is brought to you in part by Anoka Ramsey Community College and Anoka Technical. It's more than a college, it's a community dedicated to your success. And by the Urgency Room, with locations in Eagan, Woodbury, and Madness Heights. They'll have you in fast and home soon. Go to the Urgency Room.
And we're back. We're still waiting to see if we can get a post-game chat while we get things set for the next game. So we'll let you know that as Dave Thorson has a word with the Morgan Park head coach, Nick Irvin. DeLaSalle winning 74-66. Sakar Anim with 31 points. The game I went to Marcus Levet with 39. 26 of them came in the first half, 13 in the second, but that was a killer. DeLaSalle's defense was, I should say, and that made the difference in this game.
Huge mental toughness for them.
So a reminder as we get things settled here for the next game that Champlin Park and Rice Lake, a team that we've actually seen before, School Space Media. We have Don with Nick Irvin from Morgan Park. So we'll talk a little more about that, but Champlin Park and Rice Lake, well, we're going to get a word with Nick Irvin and Marcus Levet, and they're deserving of it. So Don Ackerman, take it away.
We're ready? All right. Well, we're here with Marcus, the coach, and Marcus, talk about playing on target center floor.
It was a great feeling, to be in a a pro-level environment like this. I'm just glad to, be able to play in this environment.
Coach, talk about the Timberwolves shootout coming up here and playing a great game.
Oh, it's a great game, great atmosphere, especially playing on the NBA floor. The kids at this age don't get a chance to really play on the floor, and the hospitality they showed is so good. And like I told them, I need to come back.
All right, I'm excited about that. I saw you talking with the coach from DeLaSalle. You guys I see a brotherhood there.
Yeah, I've been knowing him since I was a kid. Actually, he watched me play when I was in high school, and he coached at University of Minnesota with Clem Haskins. We go back for a long time. Him and my father go back too.
Now, Marcus, you made any friends today? I saw you having some fun out here.
Yeah, I always make friends everywhere I go. So, I just try, play my game and just try to get the win.
Great game, Marcus. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Champlin, all of these guys are playing back-to-backs. Thank you, Don. And those last 4 minutes turned out to be very crucial. So we're going to do some highlights. We won't be able to get a word with DeLaSalle, but in the interest of time, we will wrap things up. Andrew and we're not wrapped up, though. Come back in about 15 minutes as Champlin Park and Rice Lake. We'll try to get an interview with those two later, and if we do, we'll put that on for you on schoolspacemedia.tv. But for Andrew Aanenson and the rest of the School Space Media crew, I'm Mike Peden. We'll be back in about 15 minutes for Champlin Park and Rice Lake. This is the 19th annual Timberwolves Shootout on schoolspacemedia.tv.
This has been the 2015 Timberwolves Shootout, brought to you by School Space Media and Stream Powered Productions. Thank you for watching. This game is brought to you in part by Anoka Ramsey Community College and Anoka Technical. It's more than a college, it's a community dedicated to your success. By The Urgency Room, with locations in Eagan, Woodbury, and Vadnais Heights. They'll have you in fast and home soon. Go to The Urgency Room. And by Minnesota Prep Spotlight, Saturdays at 11 p.m. on 45 TV. Watch this game for free online at schoolspacemedia.tv or order on DVD at stream-powered.com.